Let us begin.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Greetings, my fellow freedom low sovereign thinkers. Thank you for tuning to L3 Podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful realms of planet Earth. Today's date is Friday, February 6th, 2026. This is episode 1936, On the Road to Nuclear War. Before I proceed, you can find me on multiple social media sites and podcast channels. Just type in Looky Luck number 3, Looky Luck Roman number 3 with 3 eyes, or Looky Luck Roman number 3 podcast. In addition, if you have any questions, comments, recommendations, all that good stuff, whatever you do, please use the quorum. Hit me via email to ll3.podcast@proton.me. If you want to donate, go to paypal.me or cash out @/Looky Luck number 3. Oh, man, right? What can we say on what's been happening? We don't know where to start, right? Yeah. Read some articles, shared some information. Everyone believes they're smarter than their oath of office, etc. Doesn't matter where you live, right? Been living in a dangerous world since beginning of time. Wow. I'm just so amazed what's going on, and more stuff is happening too with the Epstein files. Always say how accurate it is, observe responsibly, but looks like a lot of folks out there are being exposed for who they are. Of course, they all want to focus on one person, but hey, it's a lot bigger than what it is. Even folks from the Church of Hollywood are stripped naked. And politicians from around the world believe they're entitled, but they're not. Oh, man. But I see this day coming for a very long time. If you hear my very past episodes on Spreaker, I did talk about like some of the articles in reference to pedophile cases in like Essex, England. I just like give and take a lot. So I'm not trying to always go for one area. We all know we've been living in a dangerous world since the beginning of time. And we need to accept that and not live in fear, but be vigilant. This big spiritual warfare has accelerated. And that is the truth. Probably some guardian spirits from out there, from the universal cosmos, is sending some information, give us a heads up on what to do. If you don't learn from the past, folks, we're damned to repeat it. So I'm just, like I said, my friends, I'm amazed, you can say, that all this is coming out. To all the whiners out there, you got nothing to say. Be a doer, engage, stop living under a rock, or say, I'm sick to my stomach, but don't do anything about it. We all have obligations and duties. And one of them is not making rhetorical excuses, have everyone feel sorry for you and beyond. Yes, I understand there's folks out there are going through different obstacles. I'm not privileged by any means. And many of you aren't either. Regardless what the faction slaves have to say about it. It's not a red or blue issue at all. It's right versus wrong. And all these distractions can get us caught off guard on something we don't all wish on each other. Any ill will, especially a nuclear war. Well, I'm going to be reading this article that came from antiwar.com. It was written by Lawrence S. Wittner, On the Road to Nuclear War. As it reads here on January 27, 2026, the editors of the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists moved the hands of their famous doomsday clock to 85 seconds to midnight, the closest setting since the appearance of the clock in 1946 to nuclear annihilation. This grim appraisal has impressive evidence to support it. The New START Treaty was the last major nuclear arms control and disarmament treaties between the United States and Russia expired on February 5th, without any serious attempt to replace it. New START's demise enables both nations, which possess about 86% of the world's 12,321 nuclear weapons, to move beyond the strict limits set by the treaty on the number of their strategic weapons, the most powerful and most devastating kind, thus enhancing the ability of their governments to reduce the world to a charred wasteland. Actually, a nuclear arms race has been gathering steam for years, as nearly all the governments of the 9 nuclear powers, which in addition to Russia and to the United States include China, Britain, France, Israel, India, Pakistan, and North Korea, scramble to upgrade existing weapon systems and add newer versions. China's nuclear arsenal is the fastest growing among them. The era of reductions in the number of nuclear weapons in the world is coming to an end, observed Hans Christensen, a highly regarded expert on nuclear armament and disarmament. Instead, we see a clear trend of nuclear arsenals, sharpened nuclear rhetoric, and an abandonment of arms control agreement. The U.S. government is currently immersed in a $1.7 trillion nuclear modernization program that President Donald Trump has championed and repeatedly lauded. As early as February 2018, he boasted that his administration was creating a new brand nuclear force. We're going to be so far ahead of everybody else in nuclear like you never seen before. In late October 2025, to facilitate the U.S. nuclear buildup, Trump ordered the Pentagon to prepare to resume the U.S. nuclear weapons testing, which has ceased 33 years before, in line with the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty of 1996, signed by 187 nations, including the United States. No nuclear power other than the rogue nation North Korea has conducted explosive nuclear testing in over 25 years. Another sign of the escalating nuclear danger is the arrival of implicit and explicit threats to initiate nuclear war. Such threats, which declined with the end of the Cold War, have resurfaced in recent years when, angered by the policies of other nations. Donald Trump, Kim Jong-un, and Vladimir Putin have repeatedly and publicly threatened them with nuclear destruction. According to the U.S. government's Voice of America, the Russian government, in the context of its invasion of Ukraine, issued 135 nuclear threats between February 2022 and December 17, 2024. Although some national security experts have discounted most Russian threats as manipulative rather than serious. In November 2022, Chinese leader Xi Jinping thought the matter serious enough to publicly chide his professed ally Putin for threatening to resort to nuclear arms in Ukraine. Underlying this drift toward nuclear war are the growing conflicts among nations, conflicts that have significantly weakened international cooperation and the United Nations. As the editors of the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists put it, rather than heed past warnings of catastrophe, Russia, China, the United States, and other major countries have instead become increasingly aggressive, adversarial, and nationalistic. Consequently, hard-won global understandings are collapsing, accelerating a winner-takes-all great power competition and undermining the international cooperation critical to reducing the risk of nuclear war. But this is not necessarily the end of the story or of the world. After all, much the same situation existed in the second half of the 20th century, when conflicts among the great powers fueled a dangerous nuclear arms race that at numerous junctures threatened to spiral into full-scale nuclear war, and in response, a massive grassroots campaign emerged to save the world from nuclear annihilation. Although that campaign did not succeed in banning the bomb, it it did manage to curb the nuclear arms race, reduce the number of nuclear weapons by more than 80%, and prevent much feared nuclear catastrophe. Furthermore, in the early 21st century, there have been new and important developments. The worldwide remnants of the nuclear disarmament movement regrouped as the international campaign to abolish nuclear weapons and, joined by far-sighted officials in smaller non-nuclear nations, drew upon the United Nations to sponsor a series of anti-nuclear conferences. In 2017, by a vote of 122 to 1 with one abstention, delegates at one of these UN conferences adopted a treaty on the prohibition of nuclear weapons, which is TPNW. Although all non-nuclear strongly opposed the TPNW, which banned the use, threatened use, develop, manufacture, acquisition, possession, stockpiling, stationing, and installation of nuclear weapons, the treaty secured sufficient national backing to enter into force in January 2021. Thus far, it has been signed by 99 countries and a majority of the world's nations. In addition to the efficacy of public pressure for nuclear disarmament and the existence of a treaty banning nuclear weapons, at least one other factor points the way toward a non-nuclear future: a self-defeating nature, indeed the insanity of nuclear war. With every single nuclear bomb capable of killing millions of people and leaving the desperate survivors crawling painfully through a burnt-out radioactive hell, even a nuclear victory is a defeat. In the aftermath of a nuclear war, as the Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev is believed to have said, the survivors would envy the dead. It is a lesson that most people around the world have learned, although not perhaps the lunatics. Lunatics, of course, exist, and some of them, unfortunately, govern modern nations and ignore international law. Even so, although we are on the road to nuclear war, and there's still time to take a deep breath and think about where we are going and turn around. And there's a link for this as well from the back from the brink. preventnuclearwar.org. So there's a link for that. You can check it out for yourselves, folks. And I gotta commend this, like what this gentleman has wrote, because even the people's adversaries, the people who are from other nations, people in Iran don't want nuclear war. So do the Russian people, the Ukrainian people. Okay, it's just we got these government of bobbleheads going to try to tell us how to live, think, and wipe our butt, or do it their way or the highway. It's very counterproductive, as far as I'm concerned. We have to even learn the history lessons, when the United States bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan. And there was even claims, okay, I'm just saying some reports, that they were like a most populated Christian cities. Okay, so it's just a claim on that. And even I remember reading about this in school, that even the Japanese government was willing to surrender before the bombs went off, before Legay dropped those 2 bombs. So you have to question that as well. People are waking up and seeing what's happening. And what we're observing, too, was what's going on with the pedophile ring. Because many of these folks out there are warmongers. They try to think we should look up to them, and now it backfired. Those are the individuals we got to watch, including the banksters. They enjoy the lust of people's suffering so they can benefit. A la Rothschilds or Rothschilds, however you want to pronounce it. And one more thing, too. How it would affect the order. They're going to play that desperate game. New couple of big communities around the world. And said, now you need us. Always question these things, folks. No one wants a nuclear war. There's plenty of things we can do. And let all the pretentious people out there, regardless of party or where you live, It's time for us to give them the big middle finger and say, no, without us, you are nothing. Statism is the most dangerous religion in the world. Let that sink in. Well, that's just my input on this. I would love to hear from you guys later. And that will be it. I thank everyone for listening. Plus, feel free to download and share this throughout your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, recommendations, all that good stuff, whatever you do, please use decorum. Hit me via email to ll3.podcast@proton.me. If you want to donate, go to paypal.me or cash.app/Luke3. If you want to support anti-war, donations is very important for them, so please give me your support. Once again, thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that the demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading the love. May your guardian spirits be with you.